Be'ezrat Hashem. So we continue. We are Perek Yud Bet, Pasuk Kav Zayin. Just want to. Okay. We'll talk. Okay. So the Pasuk says like this: says Shlomo HaMelech lo yaharoch remiyah tzedo. Somebody that's remiyah, right? So somebody that's negligent, somebody that has ramaut in him, will never end up barbecuing what he catches. Vehon adam yakar harutz. And the wealth of Adam Yakar Harutz, right? The wealth of a person that is Harutz, because you have this pasuk is a little bit the way you have to read it says Rashi Vehon Adam Harutz Yakar. That's how you have to read it. Yes, is a pasuk mesuras. That's how Rashi reads it. Shlomo Amer says Vehon Adam Yakar. The horn of a person is Yakar. And who's that? Who's the horn of the Adam who's the horn that is yakar to of the Adam is the Adam that is charutz. Yes. So says the Gaon the following. Chachamim, they teach us in Masechet Teruvin that a hunter that hunts birds says how do you make sure that the birds that you hunt don't fly away, or you break their wings, or you burn their wings. And that's, if you will, the way you finalize the hunting. Or you secure that what you hunt is, you bring home. Because if you hunt a bird and you hold it, yes, the moment you leave, you let go of the bird is gonna fly away. Says the Shlomo HaMelech, the Shlomo HaMelech compares that to the Torah Kedosha, says the Gaon. That if you hunt, the hunter is the person that learns Torah. When you catch a bird, meaning when you catch a svara, when you learn a svara, you learn a sugya. Yes, if you don't do chazara, yes, if you don't master, if you don't seal the catch, then it's going to disappear. It will disappear. So the gain of the limud is not that you actually learn something that satisfies you, or you learn something like chidush or something, but the chazara of the limud. That's what consolidates, that's what turns what you learn into yours. And if you don't do chazara, you don't go over and learn again what you've learned to make sure that you remember it properly, then the begeder remiyah, right? It's like it's you're negligent, right? You're it's somebody that is you're not serious. Okay. That's Lo yaharoch remiyah tzedo. The remiyah, the negligent, does not do chazara, does not secure to do an effort to keep his, his own effort and his own work. However, hon adam yakar charutz. However, the wealth of the adam, says the Gaon, somebody that has a lot of wealth in his hands, then that's somebody that is yakar, and somebody that is charutz. What does that mean? It means somebody that carries, that has Torah, as Adam Yakar, that Torah Kedosha, right? Somebody that knows how to value Yoker, right? That's valuable. Then to him, his Torah is value. So when he learns Torah, he just doesn't learn. He doesn't just learn to learn. He understands that these are diamonds. These are precious things, precious studies. So he will keep them close to his heart. He's going to make sure that he doesn't let go of them. And that's what builds the wealth. This is what builds the Talmid Chacham. This is what builds the bank of knowledge of the Adam. Vecharutz, it's the mitzvot. So who is the wealthy? Is the man that understands that the Torah is yakar, that knows how to value the Torah, and therefore we do chazara to make sure that he keeps what he's learning, but also that applies it to his mitzvot. So the fact that he's charutz in his mitzvot, and the fact that he approaches the Torah with so much respect and love and seriousness, makes all this hon, right, wealth to him. Hon, says the Gaon, is notrikon, is the letters He for Chamisha Chumshe Torah, Vav, Shisas Mishnah, and Nun, Chamishim Sha'arei Bina, the 50 gates of Bina. Chamisha Chumshe Torah is the Torah Shebichtav, which is the Neshama. Shisha Sidrei Mishnah, it's the Ruach. And Chamishim Sha'arei Bina, כן? זה בנפש. So whoever has all this, okay, whoever has this hon, as yakar, it's somebody important, and it's a proof that not only yakar but charutz. כן? פסוק כ"ח.
I have a question.
Yes.
What did the birds have anything to do with this? With Chazara?
No, yeah.
Catching the bird and being diligent? Is that the connection to diligence?
Yeah, no, meaning like this. Meaning the Torah is like a bird. You have to catch it. It's hard to catch the Torah. It's hard to sit and learn Torah. But when you learn it, once you catch it, don't think you own it. Don't think that you master it. No. If you don't really control it, and if you're never going to enjoy that Torah. Yes? So the second you let go of it and you don't do chazara, it will disappear from you. Just like a bird will run away. What's the point of catching a bird? So that you can put it on a barbecue. Yeah, so that you can enjoy as food, right? The same way the Torah, you learn it so that you can enjoy the Torah. You can be satisfied by that Torah. It can strengthen you. It can elevate you. It can make you healthier, right? Just like when you want to eat the meat of a bird. Now, why the bird and not an ox? Because it's easy to catch an ox. Okay, a bird, you let it go a second, and that's it. It's back in the air. It flies away.
Got it.
Yeah. So, mashal, yes, come on. זה גם אומר לך, it's bringing forward that mashal, the hashkafa, the outlook we need to have when we want to learn Torah. Yes, you're coming to hunt. Why do you hunt? Because you're hungry, because you need to eat. A hunter doesn't hunt for the pleasure of hunting. Well, I'm not talking about those that just go, but a hunter, yeah, somebody that needs to eat. So he goes for the kill to make sure that he can eat. The same way when you go to learn Torah, you learn Torah because you understand that your neshama needs to eat. Now, how do you make sure you benefit from what you catch, from what you learn? Through the chazara. It's by doing chazara that now your chazara is like taking the bird, yes, and grilling it and roasting it. Yeah. And when you do that, when you do chazarot, when you do consolidate your learning, when you do satisfy your neshama with what you learn, meaning you feed your neshama, not just learn Torah and tease, but actually feed your neshama, and that's through the chazara and mastering of what you learn, then your neshama elevates itself, gets stronger. Now your neshama shines through you, which makes you now yakar, right? Which now you shine what your true essence, which makes you important, and that is the revelation that you are yakar, okay, and also that you are charutz. So by valuing the Torah, you become valuable. Yes, and by applying the mitzvot, yes, you become valuable. Together, you build that wealth that is the spiritual wealth that we're talking about. Yeah. Pasuk kafhet. Be'orach tzedakah hayim. Right. The road of tzedakah brings to life. V'derech netiva al mavet. And when you're in its netiv, when you're going in the path, in its path, yeah, there's no death. Says the Gaon, the derech of the tzaddikim is that we said everything is done beseter. Yes, if you pay attention, the Gaon in this perek, or at least at the end of this perek, is very busy with addressing the tzniut of the tzaddik. That the tzaddik doesn't show off, doesn't let others really see what he does. Akol b'tzniut, yes, akol b'tzniut. So the tzaddik also, when he does tzedakah, is b'tzniut. Matan baseder. Why? Because that's why the tzaddik gives tzedakah b'tzniut. Because the tzaddik is bothered, says the Gaon, by the busha, by the shame and the uncomfortable feeling the receiver might feel receiving the tzedakah. So he's going to do it in a way that he's hidden. So says the Shlomo HaMelech, the same way the tzaddik gives the tzedakah without shaming the receiver, and by doing that he brings life to the ani, to the poor, midah keneged midah, Kadosh Baruch Hu gives him life. So basically, now the person, by doing tzedakah the right way with tzniut, right? He's zoche to be added life. Nifla meod, right? Meaning you can give tzedakah and you can give tzedakah. ודרך נתיבה על מוות. So not only the one that goes in the path, in the road of tzedakah, like we said, be'orach tzedakah chaim, that is zoche to chaim. Even the one that goes in the little path of tzedakah, not in the big road, in the path of tzedakah, he will not see death. Al mavet, lo yamut. Why? The tzedakah that he does will protect him. Tzedakah tatzil mimavet. So here we have two dargot of noten tzedakah. You have the person that gives tzedakah, but in a path, in a little road, in a little path. Meaning he's not, he doesn't do it berevach. He doesn't do it the full way. Yeah. So this will protect him from death. If Khalila there's a gzera, we spoke about it, we've learned it. Yes, that it's mevatel, it cancels midat adin. However, the one that does tzedakah the right way, that's like is on the road of the tzedakah, the orach tzedakah, the hainu, the one that gives tzedakah in a hidden way, because he wants to make sure that the receiver is not being shamed or uncomfortable, and that is mechayed ani, and that gives life and refreshment, right? A refreshing feeling, chizuk to the receiver. Akadosh Baruch Hu midah keneged midah adds on the giver, on the tzaddik, life also. So not only that he doesn't have death, yes, but he's blessed with life, extra life. There is such a sipur about Binyamin HaTzadik. Yeah, in Masechet Baba Batra. Go in there. כן, ברור? בסייעתא דשמיא, with this, we completed learning or reading, trying to learn. Yeah, פרק י"ב. We will start בסייעתא דשמיא, פרק י"ג. פסוק א'. בן חכם מוסר אב. A wise son, a smart son, Musar Av, comes because of the discipline of the father. Veletz, and a light son, yeah, and a fool, a careless scoffer, Lo Shama Ge'ara. He didn't want to hear being reprimanded, screamed at. You know that the Chacham and the Letz are two opposites. The Letz is the polar opposite of the Chacham. So Shlomo Melech starts this 13th perek, and he says like this: when you have a son that is Chacham, a boy that's Chacham, that's the result of the Musar the father gave the son. And what level of Musar does a father has to give his son in order for his son to end up being a Ben Chacham? Lo chasar shifto mimeno. He does not hold back from showing his stick to him. Meaning, he doesn't hold back from punishment. Have to be careful with what we say today, right? But that's what Shlomo HaMelech says, and that's what the Gaon says. Yes, meaning if you can hold back, if you hold back from punishing your son, the literal translation here to show your stick, meaning to hit, yes, your son, to, if needed, kamuvan. And there are halachot about it. You cannot be angry when you do it. You cannot hit stam. You cannot hit in places that are dangerous. And when you hit, you have to hit when you have to be fully, you have to be cool, and you have to understand what you're doing. And there's a purpose to it, right? Why? Because we have, right? If you lift your hand on anyone, you consider the rasha. How does that work? So when it's fully done for the purpose of chinuch without any emotions involved. Like people usually when they, when they want to give a slap to a child, that's because they lose their mind. They get upset and they react. That's not what we're talking about. And shevet, a stick usually is straight. Yes, meaning when do you put a shevet? When it's like the stick is like a tutor of a tree. Yeah, when you attach a tree to grow straight, you attach it to a tutor, right? This stick that you put in the ground. So the stick represents the yashrut, okay, that reflects and brings out the crooked behavior of the child. That's the shevet, okay. So says Shlomo HaMelech, says the Gaon, yes, that you have to be miyaser umadrich. You have to teach, you have to guide, and you have to rebuke, and you have to reprimand. Yes, you have to discipline the child. Yes, and that can only be done if you are ready and responsible to punish the child when he needs to be punished. But when you have a son, that's a scoffer. You have a boy, okay, a child that is completely careless. Says the Gaon, it's because lo shama ge'ara me'aviv, because he didn't hear reprimandation and rebuke from the father. Says the Gaon, the nature of a child is to listen to the good of the message of the parent only when he is being disciplined. If you don't discipline a child, the child will not get to the good of the message you're trying to convey. He will only listen to the words and not to the message of the words. It's a big yesod of the Gaon in chinuch. If you want the child to understand the message in the words you're saying, it has to come with discipline. It has to come with musar. It has to come with yisurim. The yisurim doesn't mean punishment. It means discipline. Yes, rigorous, firmness, with teaching proper, with guidelines. Now, that if you do that, if you goer, meaning if you reprimand and you call, on the actions of the child, so he might not be chacham, but at least he's not going to be a letz. Yeah, when you reprimand and you show that there's things that are wrong, so at least he's not going to be a letz. So that's the in between. Yes, you have on the low level. Yeah, on one side you have the letz. The letz is the one the father doesn't care. He doesn't reprimand. He doesn't say anything. He lets the boy do whatever. Says the Gaon. You let the child go on his own in his own way. So if you don't reprimand the kid, if you're not there to mention what's wrong, then he's going to become a letz. He's going to become a scoffer. He's going to become a clown. Now, if you reprimand him, but you don't discipline him, but you reprimand that this is wrong, this is not the way it's supposed to be, no, it's so the fact that you reprimand, says the Gaon, right, awakes in a child a sensitivity, okay, to what's wrong, knowing that there is wrong in the world that he shouldn't do, right? So the fact that you create that sensitivity about what is wrong will build inside the child a level of maturity and awareness to move away from what's bad. So that's what protect the child from being a letz, from being a scoffer. However, if you want to build a child that is chacham, if you want to develop the chokhmah in a child, then it's not enough that you're goer. It's not enough that you reprimand. You have to start disciplining. And to discipline, you need to be able to punish. You need to be able to show your shevet. You need to be able to show your stick. What does that mean, to show your stick? You need to be able to take what's crooked or what's not done the proper way with a child and put it close to the stick, which is to the reprimandation, to the punishment, yes, and let the child understand that he needs to straighten himself in order to grow. So the effort of straightening himself, yes, through a rigid, firm, and disciplined behavior, develops within a child the nature to want to adjust himself to what's good, naturally. So now you make that child aware about how to become good, yes? And that's what the shevet does. That's what the tutor, that's what the stick does. When you have a crooked wall, you put a stick on it and you see how crooked it is. So you know how to fix it, yes? So it's all about the perspective. If you don't care, then he doesn't care. If you just care to say what he's doing wrong, so that's what he's exposed to, right? So that's what he's going to be careful with. But if you show him that you care and you show him what's right, and you force him to try to fix himself to be right, then naturally you develop within him the instinct and the awareness to fix himself to become right. And when a person constantly works on trying to be right, he develops the chokhmah, right? Because he's going to find the answer in the chokhmah. That's ben chacham.
And we say shiftecha mishantecha hem enachamuni.
Ken.
In order to get right nechama, you need to shift the mishenet and the shiftecha.
Nachon.
This is also small chayamin mekarevet.
Yes, absolutely. Nachon.
Can you explain the difference between discipline and reprimanding?
Reprimanding is, like I said, reprimanding is bringing forward what the person is doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Disciplining is telling what he needs to do right. Discipline is not only you understand, it's different focus. You can say you do this wrong, you do this wrong, you do this wrong. Or you can say this is how you do it right. This is how you do it. Yes, it's two different approach. One is addressing the problem, the other is addressing the solution to the problem.
So does that mean it's not necessarily through punishment then? It's through explaining?
But he says to what extent you need to go in order to make a ben chacham, you have to be ready to go all the way to the punishment. That doesn't mean that it has to be punishment, but you have to go that you have to be ready to punish and to show the shevet when needed. So that doesn't mean that it's that's the de facto.
All right, so that means that the first step would be if a child is doing something wrong, you not only telling you're doing this wrong, but you showing them what the right is. That comes before the punishment.
Correct. The punishment reinforces, right, and the need in the child to do what's right.
But the punishment is not always needed, or it is always needed.
No, it's not always needed. But you have to be it's not always
You have to
needed.
be you have
You
to
have
be
to be
willing
ready. Yes.
Mhm.
ולא חוסך שבטו ממנו. He doesn't hold back. I mean, that doesn't mean he doesn't hold back. I mean, he uses it when it's needed, but ודאי that if he doesn't need it, you don't use it.
It's a positive reinforcement that has to come before.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
כל המחשבה היא, the right מחשבה is to teach our kids basically how to think right. Meaning,
Yes.
to change the מחשבה, right?
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Think about it. If all you do is tell a child when he does something wrong that he's doing something wrong.
So you won't have any
No,
confidence.
you didn't help him. Okay, it's true. Now he did something wrong.
You're breaking him, if anything.
No, put the psychology, emotional, blah blah, all that aside for a second. But tachlis, how are you helping? You're not helping him. All you're doing is exposing the fact that he's wrong, right? You're addressing what he's not doing right, which is okay, because now he understands that what he's doing is wrong, but you're not helping him change. So how do you help a child change from doing something wrong? By teaching him what he needs to do right. So when you tell a child how to do something, so subconsciously he knows that if he does that to become right is because he's doing something wrong. So now your focus is on doing right versus the wrong. So by having this approach with a child, you help him think a certain way, like you're saying, Matan. Yes, you're formatting his brain to start addressing situations, and instead of us saying, okay, this is what's wrong, no, this is how I fix the situation. By the way, this applies, in our life across the board. Yes, you go to work. You have people that look for that only get stuck to the problems, and you have people that look for solutions to problems. Yeah. Good. Any? Next pasuk. מפרי פי איש יאכל טוב. From the fruit of the words of a man, of a ish, יאכל טוב, he eats good. A man eats good. ונפש בוגדים חמאס. But the soul, yeah, of the bogdim, of the boged is something that treachery, yeah. Hamas is Hamas. Hamas means this, they don't have any. They don't follow any laws. Yes, they completely. Says the Gaon the following: We have to know that the perot of the work of the tzaddikim, meaning the fruits, of the efforts of the tzaddikim is not in this world. They get it in olam haba. Although we say ochlim mipirotem ba'olam hazeh ve'akeren kayemet lo le'olam haba, right? So lechaora it's a stira, because on one hand we say ochlim mipirotem ba'olam hazeh, we eat from the perot in this world, and the keren, but the capital, the principle is in olam haba. But here the Gaon says different. He says miperi pi ish yochal tov. How can that be? So he says Shlomo HaMelech is being very, very careful. First of all, he's talking about ish, and we know ish is the highest level, right? He doesn't talk about Adam. So he's talking about someone that's mastering, like we said, the connection with the Chokhmah, the Binah, and the Da'at. Yes, like we spoke in last shiur. Ish. Says the Gaon, when does the tzaddik, when does the ish eats from his own fruit, good in this world? It's only when he does good to others, when he does chesed, and that's midah keneged midah, right?
Sorry, that's in this world?
Yes, meaning all the tzidkut of the Adam, yes, all his avodat Hashem, all his mitzvot, the perot is only in olam haba. But when he does chesed, yes, so we give the tzaddik the perot that's supposed to be in olam haba to enjoy also in olam hazeh. Not in olam hazeh instead of olam haba, but to enjoy also in olam hazeh. And which perot does he benefit the most in this world also when he does chesed? Says the Gaon, it's the perot of Talmud Torah. The chesed that he does by learning Torah and teaching Torah is the highest level of chesed. Yes, like we know in Ilchot Kvod Talmidei Chachamim, right? That if you have to be mechabed your father or your Rav comes first. Avedat Avi ve'avedat Rabo, Avedat Rabo kodemet. Why? Because Avi vio la'olam, ve'Rabo vio la'olam haba. Ela im ken, your father is also your Talmid Chacham, which is different, but yes. So when you melamed Torah, yes, so you give him life. Okay? Now, the fact that you learn Torah on your own, already you bring chesed la'olam. Yes? And when you teach Torah, this is the greatest level of chesed. Greater than a father that brought that child to the world. That's the biggest chesed possible. So the perot of that chesed of teaching Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives it also in this world. And that's tov. That's the tov. And tov el yochal tov, you will eat tov and tov el Torah. Meaning HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him the ta'am, the good. He pays him that limud Torah, that teaching Torah, those perot, right, are given to him through Torah, through the tov of the Torah. The nefesh bogdim, right, and the soul, the nefesh of the treasury, the treasure, Hamas is a nefesh, meaning whoever lies and manipulates, and there's treachery, in French it's called la tricherie, tricher, okay? His nefesh is Hamas. He's lawless. He doesn't have any rules. He doesn't have, says the Gaon, somebody that's willing to, that's that can stab you in the back. It's somebody that is lawless. Somebody that doesn't have any value for laws and rules. Big lesson. When you see someone that doesn't care about the laws, that doesn't care about the rules, is somebody that one day can stab you in the back.
That mean you're referring to Yirat Shamayim?
Lav davka. You have
The rules
people,
of what? Like halachot or
usually somebody that respects rules. You understand? Now, if he doesn't understand that, if he has a problem of emunah, that's different. Yes? But rules are rules. You have people that follow the rule, and others that couldn't care less about the rule. Like the rules don't apply to them. When they drive, when they eat, when they, in any rules. There's just no boundaries. There's no rules, nothing. The way they live. Hakol hefker. So that's the nature of Hamas. So says the Gaon, yes. Yochlu Hamas. They end up eating their own Hamas. They end up eating their own medicine. And these people don't have any issues birthing on anybody, shaming people in public, because at the end of the day, there's no boundaries. So if there's no boundaries, then what stops me from blowing up and shaming someone in public? Or what stops me from being goer and shambling someone and screaming at someone? Nothing. So says Shlomo HaMelech, the nefesh of the Hamas, the nefesh, okay, of the Bogez, is Hamas. Dehainu, he says, at the end, this is what feeds him. This is what he eats in this world. Akol mitapech alav. So the perot, the outcome of his behavior in this world, yes, he gets paid in this world, right? Already. Forget about what he gets in Olam Haba, yes? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not hold and wait for the payment in Olam Haba. It happens already now in this world. This is the mirror, right? The flip side of the tzaddik. The tzaddik does chesed, so he benefits from this chesed in ba'olam hazeh. The Rasha that does reshut and Hamas also gets paid ba'olam hazeh. But the ikar of the payment is not in this world. Just like by the tzaddik, the ikar is in olam haba. The Rasha also, the ikar is in olam haba. That's why he said nefesh bogdim Hamas. Okay, clear?
Rabbi, before you mentioned about someone has an issue with emunah, does that mean that if we see that this person follows rules, ben adam lechavero, right? Because we're talking about the guy's going to unleash on you.
Yes.
The guy has basic, he follows, he talks night, doesn't speak lashon hara, but at the same time he doesn't keep kosher and he doesn't keep Shabbat.
Yeah.
They're telling us to stay away. He's explaining to stay away.
That's not who we're talking about now.
Okay.
We're talking about somebody By the way, you have the other side, you have the flip side also. You have the guy that puts tefillin and eats kosher, but acts like a behemah. He doesn't eat kosher and puts tefillin because he understands what he's doing, but just because that's how he was raised.
So what? So it's talking about someone who's fully not engaged in any laws, doesn't care about anything whatsoever.
Ken.
He lives full chaos. Almost.
Ken. But that doesn't mean he doesn't put tefillin. Or you have people that do, certain mitzvot, but they don't do it because they understand of the mitzvah. They do it because mitzvah tanashim melumada. Yes. But even when they do that mitzvah, it's wherever, whenever, however.
Yeah, but it was. We don't need to go far to look to find people like that in this world.
No, there's a lot. There's a lot. Yes, there's a lot. Tov.
Society doesn't help either.
נכון. בסדר. So, בסייעתא דשמיא, we just finished פסוק ב', פרק י"ג, פסוק ב'.